Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing my spoiler-free review of Beartown by Fredrik Backman, and this was the Tales and Teacups book club picks for the months of January and February, so if you are still interested in reading you can still participate in the Goodreads discussion, and I'll have everything linked down below. But oh my goodness you guys, I haven't had a book that sparked such an emotional impact on me, and this one is definitely a standout. And one of the books that I've read recently, it's definitely one of the standouts. So basically the premise of this, it follows a small town called Beartown, obviously, that is in this like small, very isolated town in Sweden, and this town's lifeline is the hockey team, and they are finally doing good. The juniors team is in the semifinals. Everyone's really excited because this is the team that has turned like the town around and is making it a place to be proud of. And so after the semifinal match, there is a event that happens between the star player of the hockey team and a young girl, and it kind of goes off from there. But I don't want to spoil the plots of this book, but that is a general synopsis of here. And I was very intrigued by this book. My aunt read this recently and she really liked it as well, so I had high hopes, and the reviews on Goodreads for this were pretty good. So I had high expectations going into it, and I felt the concept of exploring hockey culture in here is very interesting. Not necessarily specifically hockey culture, this can be applied, I feel like, especially growing up in Canada, it's very similar with like what is described in here. But essentially, if you're from America and you're not familiar with kind of hockey culture, it's very similar to like football and the hyper masculinity and that kind of world where even though someone has done something wrong, like people always blame the victim for it, and because the guy is like such a phenomenal player on the team, they're willing to look the other way and victim blame and all that stuff. So this one was very interesting, and it's written in it's told from many different point of views, so it adds some multi-dimensional layer to it, and it kind of adds a new flavor to it because you kind of jump around from perspectives, and the narration is also kind of remind me similar of the narration style from the Book Thief, where it's told by a narrator who knows the future of the characters. It's not like present set, it's told almost in a almost a reflection way, and it kind of alludes to things that happen in the future, which I thought was really interesting. And I think the author did a really good job at tackling some very hard topics that aren't necessarily talked about in kind of books. I think like the only show that really addresses this on a consistent basis is Law and Order SVU, but this one does a really good job at addressing rape culture, toxic masculinity, like all those things. I thought was very interesting in the way that it integrated that into the story. And like I said, never have I had a book that made me so angry. Like I was upset reading it, just seeing how everything was planning out and just how the town could react this way. And I think what made it so made me so angry is that I can see this happening. It's a very realistic example of what we see in today's world and society, and that's really upsetting. And I think this book does a really good job at shedding light on that and just how horrible that system is, and like societal norms, and how that is just how we are. And I think that's what makes this really frustrating. So like I said, overall, between the multi-dimensional point of views in here that add like a new spiciness, you kind of see the scenario played out from different point of views and perspectives. So I think that adds to kind of the overall kind of feel of this book, and just the feeling of isolation in this town I thought was very well done. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. My only complaint was for the first 150 pages or so, until basically the I want to say like the climax of the pinnacle book, or the pinnacle part of this book, or like the climax of it. The first part of it was just hard to kind of get into it because not a lot happens. You're just kind of establishing all of the different points of view and the characters that like may play a significant role, or they're just there to kind of throughout there they have like a narrative, but it took a while for me to like for it to actually grab my attention. It wasn't until the, like I said, that pinnacle point in here that I actually was sucked in, and then it was just the anger. It was just so much anger reading this, and I'm sure if my sister read this, because she's all over like feminism, like she probably, like if I'm angry, my sister would be vivid like if she read this. So just be aware of that. There are trigger warnings for some of the hard subject matter in here, but nevertheless, I am still very much blown away by this book. It was not what I was expecting, just the way it's written. It's very whimsical, but also very dark and tragic. So it, like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised with this. It was a good start to the book club for 2020, and I'm very interested to see what the sequel has in store, because at the end they give you like what happens, like they show there'll be like 4 boys are here, like one of them does this, like it tells you what they are 10 years from now, and I think that's really interesting if the next book covers that. I don't know, but me and my aunt were talking about it and she says she wants to read that, so after we finish The Things We Cannot Say, I think we'll read the sequel to this. But yeah, overall this was a really good read. That's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this book and what you thought about it and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.